For the first time since 2006, the Chicago Bears are 5-1 after a great victory against the Carolina Panthers this Sunday. What is up, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears post-game reaction videos. I hope all of you are doing well, enjoying your dub. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below because I want to know what you guys are feeling at this point in time, okay? Me personally, I'm feeling pretty damn happy, as you can see, because after all the hate that I got too, okay? I mean, I was one of the only guys on YouTube, besides Bears YouTubers that is, that actually thought the Bears were going to have a winning record this year, that actually had the Bears going to the playoffs, okay, finishing at 11-5. Everybody called me stupid for that, okay? I got DMs from all these other fans saying, oh, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. The Bears, they're going to go 3-13, they're not going to do anything. We're going to be contending for Trevor Lawrence. We have a terrible offense, defense is going to regress. We're not going to do anything, right? And also looking at the media, man, like pretty much all the media members had us going, 6-10 or even worse, finishing last in the NFC North. To shut them all up in the manner in which we have, okay, to go 5-1 to begin the year for the first time since 2006, since I was a 7-year-old kid. That just feels so goddamn amazing. So excuse me if you think I'm being a little bit too hyped up in this video, but I gotta talk my shit too, okay? After all the abuse us Bears fans have gone through from the media, from other fans, go out there and talk your shit, okay? We're 5-1 at the top, near the top of the NFC. We really only need about 5 more wins to make the playoffs. So at this point in time, I mean, the Bears have a very good chance of making the playoffs. Now, obviously, we're going to be hoping for higher things, okay? Not just making the playoffs, but also doing something in the playoffs. And for that to happen, I mean, our offense is going to have to improve considerably. Our play calling is going to have to improve as well. The offensive line play is going to have to improve. There's a lot of things on our team that we still have to work out. But the good thing is, though, guys, is that even though we're not playing our best football yet, we have still found ways to get victories, okay? Don't overlook that at all. That's something that's ridiculously hard to do. I mean, winning as it is so hard to do in the NFL. But to win when you've also not been playing your best football, that is even better, because going down the stretch when we hopefully improve on both offense and on defense to some extent, I mean, this team could be absolutely dangerous. But with all that said, let me start breaking down this game now for you guys. Who had great games, who had poor games, what went well for the Bears, what didn't go so well. And let me start talking about some of the positives first of all. And by far the biggest positive, obviously, in this game was the Bears defense, and mostly the Bears pass rush, okay? This Bears pass rush, honestly, in my opinion, I mean, it's actually looking better than what it looked like in 2018, because the level at which Robert Quinn has been playing at so far this year, and also having, Mario Edwards, who's been a great free agent signing by Ryan Pace, having a rotation of guys, also having Barkevious Mingo. I mean, all of these guys collectively have been able to put together some great pass rushing performances in the last 2 weeks, and today was definitely one of those performances, okay? If I read you guys some stats, so the Bears as a team had 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, and 6 QB hits as well. So getting to the quarterback, hitting Teddy Bridgewater 6 times, but also what the numbers don't show is how often we actually did get pressure on Teddy Bridgewater, because it seemed like practically every play he was under pressure to some extent, okay? Some part of the line wasn't holding up. Khalil Mack, was getting in there pretty frequently. Robert Quinn as well. Akeem Hicks on the interior was able to get consistent pressure too. Like I mentioned, man, Mario Edwards, he's been a great acquisition. He had a sack. We had James Vaughters getting in there for half a sack. We had Barkevious Mingo getting in there for half a sack. So all this collective pass rushing pressure, it really forced Teddy Bridgewater into making a lot of dumb throws. And he really did not have any time in the pocket to really read the field and, go through all his progressions, because by the time he got to his second or third progression, Khalil Mack was already in his face, or Robert Quinn was in his face, or somebody was in his face. So we made Teddy Bridgewater's life living hell in the pocket, and he was forced to move out of the pocket, which he's not the best quarterback at, okay? He's not really a mobile guy like these other quarterbacks are. He's more of a pocket passer. So when Teddy Bridgewater was forced to run around, run for his life, also run for the first down, a lot of times he was not able to get it because he doesn't have the most speed, keep in mind. So I thought the game plan for Chuck Pagano was beautiful today, because he realized that you don't have to blitz to send pressure against this Carolina Panthers offensive line. I mean, that's also what he kind of did against the Bucs offensive line. He realized that we have so much pass rushing talent. Okay, Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, all these guys that can get through double teams that you don't have to send an extra guy. Put that extra guy in coverage instead of blitzing him. And that's been able to, make us have a lot of success over the past 2 weeks. Look at how the secondary played in this game. They played so great due to the fact that our pass rush was dominant the entire afternoon. Now, our secondary is already great as it is, so I don't want to disrespect the great talent we have back there in the secondary, but the fact that we're also getting consistent pressure now on the front seven, forcing these quarterbacks to throw, some pretty precarious passes, that's what's been enabling us to also get these turnovers now, which we have not been getting to begin the year. Okay, Tashawn Gibson got his hands on the ball early in the game in the first quarter, the first offensive possession that the Panthers had. DeAndre Houston-Carson had a clutch interception for us to win the game. Eddie Jackson had a pick six, which got called back because of some BS by the referees, which, by the way, guys, that's 3 touchdowns now in Eddie Jackson's career that have been called back due to penalties on the Chicago Bears, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I feel so sorry for Eddie Jackson because getting defensive scores in the NFL is ridiculously hard to do. It's so rare. And to have 3 of them called back, Eddie Jackson is hurting, okay? He wants to score every single game that he plays. So it's got to be so heartbreaking for him to have the score ripped away from him, which I'll talk about the referees a little bit later too, because my God, the referees throughout the entirety of the game today, they were just straight up disgusting, okay? Making terrible calls against the Bears consistently, which made me even question, are the Panthers paying the refs or something? Because my God, even from an unbiased point of view, I asked my friend that's a Packers fan who was watching the game. He was like, oh, the Bears are getting all the calls against them. Like that's poor officiating. So think if a Packers fan says that says a lot. But even after all the bad calls that went against us, even after, that pass interference, that BS pass interference on Jalen Johnson, which led to the only touchdown the Panthers scored in this game, which I guess you could have argued that to some extent, maybe that is pass interference, but I see a lot of cornerbacks do the same exact thing that Jalen Johnson did, so I don't think it should have been pass interference. But either case, man, besides a couple penalties, besides, a couple slip-ups in the middle of the field, the defense overall was just so damn elite. I also have to talk about Kyle Fuller in this video because how can I not, man? This dude is honestly making a case to be MVP of the Chicago Bears, but also to be an all-pro cornerback in the NFL this year. I mean, so far, he's practically made no mistakes. Think about that. Like, usually with a cornerback, they have a few slip-ups like every game, but I can't think of many slip-ups that Kyle Fuller has had over the past 6 weeks. He's been that dominant in coverage, but also in tackling, okay? And being a physical cornerback, this dude can knock the living hell out of you, and receivers are starting to fear that. And they're bracing for a big hit every time they go across the field, and Kyle Fuller's waiting there for them. And it's gotten to the point, man, where, the referees don't even want to allow Kyle Fuller to make these big hits anymore. They call a flag, they call a penalty on every single big hit this dude makes. And it's just ridiculous because all these hits are textbook clean hits. Can you not play defense anymore in the NFL? I mean, that hit he had on DJ Moore in the first half, that was a textbook shoulder to shoulder hit. Okay, you can't play that ball any better than Kyle Fuller played it. Okay, that was a clean, beautiful tackle, but according to the refs, he made contact with the head, even though on the replay, it clearly showed there was no contact with the head. So I guess the referees are not going to let Kyle Fuller be as physical as he wants to be. But either case, man, he's starting to become an enforcer back there in the secondary, and receivers are really starting to fear him too. So just such an amazing game played by Kyle Fuller, but also a great game played by the rest of our defense. They were the main reason, the number one reason why we won this game. They're definitely returning to 2018 form, maybe even better eventually. I mean, this is definitely a Super Bowl level defense. We can definitely win a Super Bowl with this defense. I also want to bring up some stats. I mean, we only allowed the Panthers to convert third down 3 times out of 13 tries. That's ridiculous, okay? And also in the red zone, we pretty much shut them out besides, that one touchdown, which they only got because of a BS pass interference penalty. So this Bears defense, man, it does bend at some points, but it never does break, okay? It's dominant on third down and also dominant in the red zone too, which is why we've been winning so many of these close games. Moving over to our offense now, man, I don't have nearly as many good things to say about the offense as usual. I mean, it's been the same story for practically every single year of me being a Bears fan. We always have a great defense. We always have a below average offense. And so far, it's been the same thing mostly, okay? The biggest complaint I do have on this offense right now, though, is that our offensive line is just so bad, man. It's just so ridiculously bad, okay? In this game, going up against the Panthers defensive line that was missing some of their top talent, that only had 5 sacks to enter the game, one of the worst pass rushes in the entire NFL. They were able to hit Nick Foles 9 times, okay? They had 9 big shots on Nick Foles, which is just absolutely unacceptable if you are the Chicago Bears. They were also one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, and we could not get anything going on the ground for the majority of this game. Let me talk about the pass protection first of all. I mean, Rashad Coward did not have a great debut. At guard, filling in for James Daniels. James Daniels is definitely going to be a big loss for this Bears offensive line because, I mean, I saw Rashad Coward on the ground a lot. He was whiffing on his blocks, and there was a lot of pressure coming from his side of the line. Now, even though Nick Foles didn't get sacked a single time, okay? I think the Panthers had 0 sacks. Let me double check that. Yeah, the Panthers actually did have 0 sacks, so Nick Foles didn't actually go down with the ball in his hands, but that's not good for the health of your quarterback to allow him to be getting hit this many times in a game. And also, the only reason a lot of these hits were not sacks was because Nick Foles got rid of the ball super fast, okay? That's one of Nick Foles' biggest strengths, okay? The ability to get rid of the ball and make decisions super fast on the fly. If Nick Foles could not do that, there could have been 2, 3, or even more sacks allowed in this game because our tackle play was not great at all. I mean, Charles Leno is definitely a below average offensive tackle. I mean, he has had success with the Bears in the past in 2018, but he seems to have regressed in a lot of different areas, especially in pass protection. So Charles Leno, not a great day. Bobby Massey, I'm not the biggest fan either. I mean, overall also as a unit, this Bears offensive line, it was able to get no push for David Montgomery in the run game. We only had 2.5 yards per carry against one of the worst run defenses in the entire NFL. I mean, David Montgomery only had 58 rushing yards, which is just such a big, tremendous downside to the Bears offense right now, okay? The run blocking is just disgustingly bad right now. It was great for the first few games of the year, but it's regressed in a lot of different ways over the past 3 weeks. Maybe that has something to do with Juan Castillo not being fully here, okay? Juan Castillo was not present for this game. I think he had COVID, or I think he got exposed to COVID, so that's why he's not here right now. So that's a big loss on the sidelines. So maybe we can turn things around to some extent when Castillo gets back, when Coward has a few more games under his belt. But I'm not going to be the most optimistic about that, guys, because we really did not take any steps over the offseason to upgrade the talent on the O-line, which is something I really criticize Ryan Pace for not doing so. So I don't see how we can all of a sudden expect this offensive line to be great, but hopefully it can be at least an average offensive line, and it can enable us to have some level of success in the run game and also on offense overall. Talking about Matt Nagy, I don't think it was the worst game called by him at all, because for the most part in this game, I mean, we were converting on third down. We were 50% on our third down conversion, so we were able to move the ball down the field, but it was just due to a lack of execution and also due to our offensive line's poor play that a lot of these plays were just not working out at all. Now, that doesn't mean that Matt Nagy is without blame here, because he did have a lot of head-scratching calls in this game. I mean, I hate that on third down, a lot of times, Matt Nagy calls a play that goes behind the first down marker, okay? Why are you doing that, okay? We're not the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't have those same run-after-the-catch guys. We don't have the same blocking to execute these plays that work in Kansas City. So I want more stuff going down the field, okay, vertically, attacking this defense down the field. I mean, we have the guys to do it as well. You have one of the best young receivers in the NFL right now in Darnell Mooney, who's practically catching everything that is thrown to him. He's definitely cemented himself as the number 2 receiver on this team. You have a big guy in Al Robinson who can, lay out these spectacular catches over other DBs. So why not attack defenses down the field, get stuff going vertically? I mean, I get that he probably doesn't think our offensive line is going to hold up for a lot of these plays to actually work, but you have to at least try them here and there, which I feel like he's not been doing enough. Now, let's also talk about that play call he had at the end of this game, where on third down, he chose to call a pass instead of a run to get those final 2 yards to put the Panthers away and effectively win the game. I saw a lot of people online complaining about that, okay? Complaining about the fact that Matt Nagy wants to be aggressive and actually try to win the game. I don't get that at all, okay? You can criticize Matt Nagy about a lot of things, but to throw the ball on 3rd and 2 when your run game is clearly not working, okay? So probably that run would have just gone for nothing and we would have punted the ball. I don't get why people are so extremely mad about that, okay? Obviously it didn't work out, but you guys would have been mad the other way as well if we ran up the middle and that didn't work out, okay? Then people would have said, oh, Matt Nagy, you're not being aggressive enough trying to win the game. So either way, he would have lost, but I agree with the call to pass there and put the Panthers away. And, you know, hopefully that call does work out at some point in the future. Let's also talk about Nick Foles now, okay? His numbers, if I read, are not the best at all. So he went 23 for 39 on his passing attempts. He had 198 passing yards, so couldn't even break 200. He had 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception, but also a rushing touchdown too. A QB sneak he had in the second half. And he had a passer rating of 70.3. So if you just look at the numbers, man, you would think that he played a pretty poor game. And I definitely agree that he didn't play a great game at all by any means, okay? He threw a lot of balls that could have been picked off. One that was picked off, which that pass that got picked off, guys, in the second half, that was one of the worst throws I've seen out of any Bears QB this year, okay? Mitch has had a lot of bad throws too, but that pass by Nick Foles was just a terrible pass that really had no chance of being completed. So that was a bad decision by Nick Foles. But I love that Nick Foles, after that pass, he rebounded so fast, okay? Right after that, the defense, they also got to stop. And when Nick Foles got the ball back, he drove down the field for a touchdown, which is really what we're going to get from Nick Foles this year, okay? He's going to be inconsistent. He's going to be streaky. He's not going to be the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not going to be like an MVP level guy, but he is going to make good decisions and good reads for the majority of the game and just be good enough to win with the great defense that we have. I mean, you guys have to realize that Nick Foles, he doesn't have to be a superstar for us to potentially win the Super Bowl. He just has to be an average quarterback and do things that average quarterbacks usually do, like manage the game, okay? Don't throw a lot of picks, throw the ball away instead of taking a stack. Now, he did make a ton of poor decisions in this game, which he has to clean up going forward, but still, I don't think Nick Foles had the worst game at all, because he did also make a lot of clutch and, you know, key decisions in this game that really helped us score these points. He started out super hot, going 11 for 12 to begin the game, but after that, he was a lot more inconsistent. But I do have to say, with how bad the offensive line was playing at certain points in time, with the fact that we didn't have any sort of run game to complement him, we couldn't call, you know, a lot of these play action passes because the run game was simply not working. I mean, to still be just good enough to win this game, to make some clutch and beautiful throws, some good decisions at certain points in this game, to just put up enough points to win, you know, I guess I'm okay with that at this point in time, because we really have no other option, okay? We don't have a star quarterback on the Chicago Bears. Both Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles are not star quarterbacks, and they probably never will be, but at least with Nick Foles, you get that experience that Trubisky does not have. So, okay game by Nick Foles, but he does have to be better going forward. And the last guy I want to talk about in this video is going to be kicker Cairo Santos, man. Cairo Santos has fully won me over at this point in time. You guys remember I hated on him a lot in the offseason. I was like, this guy's not going to do anything for us. He's struggled over the past 3 years. To begin the year for us also, he did miss a couple big kicks, which I was hating on him pretty hard for, but today, guys, he shut me up completely, okay? He nailed a 55-yard field goal in the first half, which would have honestly been good from 60 plus. I mean, that thing was going straight down the middle, so that was a beautiful kick by Cairo Santos. He also nailed a 31-yarder in the second half. So when we needed Cairo Santos the most, he did show up. And right now, guys, I mean, I'm not worried about the kicker position at all. But yeah, guys, it's pretty much going to wrap up this video. I think it's getting a little bit too long. I mean, I could honestly talk about this game for another hour, but you know, that's going to be too long of a video, so I will end it right here. Let me know what you guys thought about this game down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the rest of our season as well, because at this point, being 5-1, that's such a great place to be, and it gives us such a great chance of making the playoffs this year. So let me know your excitement down below. Also, a big shout out to my Hall of Fame members on my YouTube channel. So Keith, Luckett, Stackzz, Michael Horwitz, ACG, Ryan Pass, Scottie, McLean. Big shout out to all of you guys. I appreciate all my other members as well. If you guys want to become a member, there's a link in the description box down below. I'm also giving away a free Allen Robinson jersey if you sign up within the next week to one of you guys. So currently there's 22 members on my channel, so you have a 1 in 22 shot at winning a free Bears jersey, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So definitely take a look at that down below. But as always, guys, bear down.